Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope all of you are having an outstanding weekend so far. In this class, we are looking at IELTS Speaking Part 3, talking about becoming successful. Speaking Part 3 is usually a specific topic that anybody should be able to talk about, and it follows the topic of Part 2, the cue card. For many of those who watched the last class that just ended 30 minutes ago, you will remember that Speaking Part 2 cue card was talk about a member of your family who you think is successful. So it's no surprise then that in this case, Part 3 follows on this topic of successful individuals and what it takes to become successful. So some great English language vocabulary coming up, some tips, strategies for IELTS speaking to get those high band scores. Let's get into it. Welcome Chayani, Fuang, Silviana, Romelia. Nice to have all of our members here. Welcome Chen, our chat moderator. Good to see many of our students. Nipa, Black Panther, Harjot, Khaled. Happy to have you. Students, this lesson is presented by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there for general IELTS. Check us out at gieltshelp.com. Both of those websites have our strategies, videos, practice exams that we use in these live classes. They are the engines that move these live classes forward. So check them out when you have a minute and sign up for our premium IELTS package. This is aehelp.com here with the blue background. Click that big red button that's just right above my head there to join the premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. We don't believe in a subscription model. You need to use it maybe for a few weeks or maybe for a few months. Depends on your situation. So you just pay once. We're an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center. You're in great hands with us. We have helped thousands and thousands of students succeed in their IELTS exams. We will be using your My Student account, the student partner speaking, shortly. I'm going to dedicate as much time as possible to let you speak and practice today. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background. Again, click that big red button that's just right above my head there to join the premium IELTS package. When you do that, students, you can use the code over7 to get an additional 10% discount. Over 7. The cost is different in different countries, so check out the cost in your country, and then you can make payment via Google Pay, credit card, PayPal. Up to you what works best on your end. And you can also link our apps to your web account from your app stores. You can download our apps, Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help. And on Instagram, you can follow us, IELTS_AHelp, GIELTS Help. If you have questions, send me an email. Adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to the class. Nice to see. It's great to have multiple moderators in the class. That's fantastic. And we've got an exciting surprise coming up for you soon in these live classes as well, but I won't tell you what that is just yet. All right. We've got a kind of an interesting schedule in the next few weeks. I will have a few weekend days where I'm away, so pay attention to the schedule, everyone. Next week as usual, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but then afterwards it will change up a bit. We're going to have some classes on Tuesday and Wednesday to make up for later on, okay? Okay, Thu Trang says, why not? Well, surprises got to stay surprises. Thu, that's why. All right, keep you interested. Okay, we've got this video for you up on the channel right now. This is a speaking video that's in HD, and you can check that out. It's in the chat. Romelia, I want to make you a moderator. Please send me an email. I think we talked about this. So Romelia, right now, send me a quick email so I have it. Send it to admin@aehelp.com, okay? We talked about that, Romelia. So admin@aehelp.com. Send it there, okay? And then we'll discuss the next steps, okay? All right. Yes, everyone, I'm looking at the chat. Interact with me. Okay, I want you to interact with me. It's good for your development. All right. So, students, IELTS speaking part 3. Let's get into it. Okay, and as we get into it, some good news. Gaming Hub is saying, hey, hello, sir. Today I cleared my IELTS examination with just 1 month of preparation. Overall 7, listening 7.5, reading 7, speaking 6.5, writing 6.5. Your videos really helped me in speaking. Good. Gaming Hub, send me an email. I would love to get your picture and testimonial. Congrats on that. It's fantastic. Okay, we help. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you keep coming to these classes. You use those websites. You are in the right direction. Okay, so speaking part 3, let's remember speaking part 2. So speaking part 2, we talked about my successful uncle, the realtor. Now, remember what I said in past classes. In the IELTS, for speaking part 3, it's very important to remember speaking part 2 ideas, okay? So it is very important to remember part 2 ideas for part 3 so you can make connections, be fluent so you don't have to think so much, be fluent, and have good language, accurate answers. So what do you think I'm referring to? So I made a mention of a couple of points in the last class in part 2, talking about my successful uncle, the realtor, who is a made-up person. But I emphasized a few different ideas in that part 2 response. And here, especially one aspect of that last class is really good to recall. What is it? What do you think? Okay, Gaming Hub says fluency helped me get 6.5. Alexi says tenses. Yeah, Alexi, okay, that's not what I was thinking about, but I agree with you. So remembering to use present perfect, perfect to emphasize achievement, yes. Expectation and experience, right? Or the non-versions as well. That would definitely be a very good point to keep in mind for this part 3. What else? There's one other one that you should think of even before grammar here for that. You can't predict your IELTS exam ASB. It's not possible. That's just shooting in the dark. It's like playing lottery. Okay. Yeah, Fuang, very good. Aspects of success. Yes, very good, Fuang. Clever, clever. Fuang, you are starting to really understand my thinking, which is good because my degree is in psychology, and critical thinking is certainly a big part of analytical thinking, a big part of a psychology degree. So good, Fuang. You're harmonizing, synchronizing with my thought patterns. It's good. Yes, so definitions of success. So absolutely, if you are going to have a part 3 about success, it's good to remember those definitions of success. So work, family, finance, sports, right? Health are all very important definitions of success. Black Panther, latte. Yes, I'm drinking coffee milk, 50% milk. The other 50% water with a bit of instant coffee. Good guess. A lot of milk though. Lactose free. I've come to realize that lactose free milk is a lot better to drink than regular milk if you're going to drink milk. If you're older, if you're a young teenager, then just drink milk. All right. So definitions of success. Definitions of success. Very important. Alexi, you can probably guess it's not decaf. Okay. All right. Very important to remember. The other one to remember here is always give answers plus explanations plus examples. Okay. And connect to part 2. So that is what we are going to practice here. All right. Okay, let's get into it. I will give you tips, strategies, feedback in real time based on your answers. First, we will try a couple of questions with typing the answers in the chat. I will look at your responses, and then we will do some volunteering and make it more like the real exam. Okay, now students, make sure to speak and repeat throughout the lesson. Okay, it's very important. You're not just listening if possible, because then it's just a listening lesson. So also repeat, copy what I say, copy how I say it. Okay, all right. So the examiner will say that is the end of part 2. We will now continue with part 3. For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to the topic of part 2. Let's talk about becoming a successful person. What is needed for a person to become successful? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this question. Okay. So, what is needed for a person to become successful? Now, here's another really important tip as you're doing this. Use the question. Okay? So, use the question in your answers. I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay? All right. So don't talk too much says, to become successful, we must be punctual, accurate, and confident. Why? So you've got a good start. You want to explain that. And don't talk too much. Don't use all capital letters. Okay? It's awkward. It's like you're yelling at me. Not necessarily. Romelia says perseverance as one word. Romelia, put that into a sentence and give me an explanation. Okay? All right, who am I says this. Good family members and friends who motivate and support us in our hard times are needed to be a successful person. Why? Because when we are able to navigate challenges well, without losing too much money, energy, and time, we can invest more effort into productive goals like study and work. My dad helped me get through a tough breakup with my girlfriend, which also helped me to stay focused on my final exams, and I got a great score. Okay, that would be considered a band 9 level answer. Who am I? So a couple of corrections, explanation, and example. Okay. Repeat after me. What is needed for a person to become successful? Good family members and friends who motivate and support us in hard times are needed to be a successful person, because when we are able to navigate challenges without losing too much money, energy, time, we can invest more effort into productive goals like study or work. My dad helped me get through a bad breakup with my girlfriend, and this helped me to stay focused on my final exams and graduate with top honors. When you're repeating what I say, try to repeat the content, not the words necessarily. If you catch a couple of good words, good vocabulary, sure, try to repeat them, write them down. What's most important is repeat the content. Okay, repeat the content, repeat the idea. There are different ways to say it. You can say it in a simpler way, in a different way. The goal is to repeat the content and not necessarily read. Okay, if you can avoid reading, but just listening and then repeating the content, that's the best. Does everybody get me on that? So the way that you repeat is really important, okay? So focus on repeating the content. Not necessarily verbatim. Verbatim means word for word. Okay? So you don't have to repeat me verbatim. You need to repeat the content. Got it? All right. Sarah says, ouch, breakups are harsh. I'm just going through one. Well, Sarah, we're here to support you so that you can be a successful person. Right, everyone? So chin up, forward, Sarah. There are lots of eligible bachelors out there for you. I guarantee it. Okay. All right. Yanni says, I feel you, Sarah. All right, everybody. So when you repeat, focus on content. Content. Okay. Very important. Okay. Good. Let's go to the next question. We gave an example. So if you give an example, the examiner will not say, can you give an example? Or they won't say, can you elaborate, usually. And if they do, you can give another example, right? So give a second example. Here is another question. Let's look at it. Where can people frequently meet with successful individuals? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Where can people frequently meet with successful individuals? Really pay attention to words like frequently in the question. Okay, so don't just say like, well, people can meet with successful individuals in restaurants. No, frequently meet with them, right? Steffi, thank you for that feedback. Okay. All right, give me a nice full sentence answer. Here, the question is asking about location. Really pay attention to those question markers like what, when, where, why, who, and make sure that you're answering in the correct way. If it's a where, then don't answer when. Okay, if it's a who, then don't answer where. In this case, it's where. So location is what we're focusing on here. Okay. All right. Icon says, there are some seminars that are held by the government or universities where, now, Icon, this would be considered a pretty big mistake in this case because you're using the wrong adjective clause. So you wrote which, and in this case it's where, right? Exactly because of the location. So pay really careful attention. You would lose a band score for that, or not a band score, but you would definitely, maybe even a band score. If I'm your examiner, I'd be like, really, which? I just said where. So universities where people can meet with academics or professionals. Don't repeat the same word, people. So instead of people, can meet with professionals who have a brilliant career and they can give a hand to attendees. Too many people. Okay, you have to find other ways to say people. You can't just say people. It'll even become difficult. It's like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, right? A lot of peas, people, right? So be careful with that, okay? Don't put yourself into a tongue twister by repeating words like people. Icon, careful with your adjective clause, careful with your noun use, okay? There are some seminars that are held by the government or universities where people can meet with professionals who have a brilliant career and they can give a hand to attendees. These are often workshops or seminars on a specific topic, like using 3D technology. I attended this type of seminar last week and met with a professor that will be my master's supervisor. Right? That would be the way to finish so that you get that band 9. Okay? All right? So that's what you want to do. Again, repeat after me, students. So where can people frequently meet with successful individuals? There are some seminars that are held by the government or universities where people can meet with professionals who have a brilliant career and they can give a hand to attendees. These are often workshops or seminars on specific topics like 3D technology. I attended this type of seminar last week and met with a professor who is going to be my master's supervisor. All right. Andrew has this answer for us in 2 parts. Let me grab that second part, Andrew. So Andrew says, well, people usually encounter successful men and women in the professional environment, both at the job itself and high-profile business meetings, because successful individuals often occupy high managerial positions. That's where I met my current boss, Mr. Smith, who later offered me a job in his investment firm. Okay, instead of business, you're doing such a good job, Andrew, being specific. Keep being specific. So really avoid word repetition. You've already used business once, so let's not use it again. Investment firm. Let's give a specific concept there. I like your use of the word encounter here. It's a verb, of course. Encounter means to meet by accident. Meet by accident or happenstance. Okay, so unintentionally. It means encounter. What's the phrasal verb for encounter? Anybody know? So phrasal verbs are also considered idiomatic language. And a lot of students ask, like, do I need to use idioms like over the moon? I was over the moon when I met with my professor at a seminar. No, you don't have to use idioms like that are complex and sometimes overused, especially because of YouTube videos. So even using phrasal verbs is considered idiomatic language, and you can get a band 9 by using good phrasal verbs throughout your speaking session. Romelia says bump into. Yes, very good. Also, Bogdan says come across. Very good. Stumble upon, Andrew, is more for ideas or objects than people. I stumbled upon a good idea or I stumbled upon some information. We don't really stumble upon a person. The reason we don't say that so much, Andrew, is because stumbling means to kind of fall, like you're almost falling, and we actually trip or stumble over people. So when we say stumbled upon my friend, it's kind of awkward. It's like, so did you actually meet him by accident or did you fall over his foot? All right, so not the best context for stumbled upon. You sometimes hear it, but it's not the best, okay? Better is come across. I came across my professor at one of these seminars, or I bumped into. Yes, bumped into. Romelia, run into is another good one. I ran into my friend. Yes. There are small differences among all of these phrasal verbs. As you master English, you will start to feel them. Run into means that the situation happens quickly. Come across means that it happens maybe not as quickly. Bump into means that it really happens accidentally. So there are some differences. Okay. Hamad, keep in touch is not the same as encounter. Okay. All right. So remember, students, good use of phrasal verbs is idiomatic language and is enough to get high band scores as long as you use it well. Okay. All right, let's try this. So a little bit of repetition here. Where can people frequently meet with successful individuals? Well, people usually come across successful men, women in their professional environments, both within the job itself and at high-profile business meetings, because successful people occupy high-level positions. That's where I met my current employer, Mr. Smith, who offered me a job at his investment firm. Okay, a couple of slight adjustments there to make it a bit more natural and emphasize some teaching points. Again, repeat content. Here is the follow-up. Does networking with successful people help a person to also become successful? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Does networking with successful people help a person to become successful? All right, Alexi, who volunteered last class, has this answer for us. Yes, there are a lot of live seminars and interviews with successful individuals. They give useful tips to the audience that can help them. It is literally the same as if we had a face-to-face conversation. I'm not really sure, Alexi, where you're going with this. Are you answering this question? Was that intended for a different question? It seems to be a bit off topic here. So for this question, anyway. Okay. Okay, Icon has this answer for us. Absolutely. Get in touch with professionals can help people to get promoted. Instead of get in touch here, Icon, get in touch means to create contact. Here, I would say staying in touch is better, or keeping in touch, okay? So keeping in touch with professionals can help people to be promoted at their jobs or to get a job, right? As a LinkedIn user, which is an online professional network, of successful individuals, expanding my network helped me to find a job, and it is an amazing platform. Okay, that's a little bit too much. We don't need that. Okay. There. So now Icon, it's better. We've changed it from a band 6 to a band 9. I do like your idea of LinkedIn. Notice how I defined what it is a bit. So maybe the examiner doesn't know LinkedIn. Some people, believe it or not, might not know LinkedIn. Okay, so you have to be very clear with the examiner. Does networking with successful people help a person to also become successful? Absolutely. Keeping in touch with professionals can help people to be promoted at their jobs or to get a job. As a LinkedIn user, which is an online professional social app filled with successful individuals, expanding my network helped me to find a job. Lovely answer. Okay, that is definitely on mark. All right. Mahak Korwal says, definitely yes. If any person stays in touch with successful individuals, then she has a positive environment, and this aids in enhancing their personality and leading them to be more successful. Mahak, good answer. Couple of corrections. Give an example. Okay. Helen says, yes, when you are in a group of successful individuals, they will guide the person on how to become successful in life. Okay, Helen, do not use the word you, especially when you change the pronoun to the person. So you started by saying when you are in a group, and then later you said guide the person. Very awkward. You're actually switching out your subject. So don't use you. When individuals, okay, are in a group of successful individuals, then the person has a chance, okay? So avoid the you. Nguyen Huang says, absolutely. You can find. Stop using you. I think I'm kind of successful, so it's weird for you to tell me that. I don't mean that egocentrically, but you don't know your examiner, right? So you can't inadvertently speak about your examiner. It means unintentionally, right? When you use the pronoun you, suddenly you're addressing your listener. You're saying you, right? And you don't want to do that in a professional situation. You don't want to say you. Be very careful, everyone. If you're in a job interview, don't say you, okay? It could cost you the job. Hopefully that will scare you into paying attention when you use the word you, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? So be very, very careful to control using the word you in your communication, especially in academic and professional settings, okay? This can literally cost you a job if you use it inappropriately in a job interview. Okay? So, got it, everyone? Be very careful. We do it in our everyday casual language, but it is not okay in professional settings. You have to be very careful. Just imagine if a doctor or a lawyer uses the word you accidentally in the wrong context, even just to sound natural, right? Okay. All right, so be very careful. Okay, because you can say, oh, I didn't actually mean you, I meant the other guy, or I meant people, and the person's like, well, but yeah, you said you, so I took that upon myself, right? So careful. Careful. All right, let's get into some questions. Okay. All right. Control the you. Okay, volunteering. Yeah, I want to give you as much of an opportunity as possible to speak and volunteer. So we're going to get into that. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the back end of the website here real quick before I give you the instructions. I'm going to do a manual reboot of the chat server, and then we'll get into talking with each other. So we've got a freshly loaded chat server. Chen, I see you're really quick out of the gates. Chen's got the instructions in the chat, everybody. So there it is. Yes, Lucid kept a tab on that. Said, beat Sarah this time. Oh boy. It's not a competition, Sarah and Chen. Alexi, I have basic HTML and PHP skills, but I am certainly not a programmer. I have some concept of programming, but I'm not a programmer. All right. Students, to volunteer to speak and practice these part 3 questions with me and with each other. Okay, so not just me, you can practice with each other. Go to aehelp.com, click this big red button that's just right above my head there to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. It doesn't cost a lot. Our goal is to help a lot of people, not to help one rich guy or one rich girl. So check it out. We're an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. IELTS Test Registration Center, Certified British Council agents. General IELTS, it's the green background again. Click that big red button there to join the premium package. Once you do that, go to your My Student account. In your My Student account, you can always book a full IELTS speaking interview with me with this yellow speaking interview practice button. We use Zoom for that, by the way. We record the sessions and you get sample materials as well. Right now we're using this blue button, this one here, that one. Click that to go to the speaking interface. There we go. Accept the terms means you're responsible, okay? If you hook up with somebody through this chat interface and you have a bad breakup, it's on you. It's not on us. It's not our fault. Don't blame me for that. Students, I do recommend that you keep your private information private on the internet with each other, okay? Be very careful with it. So you're in the chat interface here and you see lots of other students. You see our premium students. Premium students, it's good to recognize other premium students because that means they're probably familiar with a lot of the strategies. They're in the classes regularly. So reach out to each other and talk to each other, okay? Let's start with a volunteer here. Let's start with, well, let's see if Yanni is here with us. Yanni is one of our regular students and a volunteer. We'll start with Yanni, okay? Yanni, if you can hear me, let's do this. So Yanni, are you ready? If you're there, Yanni, let me know. By the way, students, if you've had the page open for a long time, you've had a lot of software open, maybe it's time to close some of those other pages and refresh the chat, okay?
Hello, sir.
Hi, Yanni. How are you?
I'm doing fine today. How about you?
I'm doing quite well. I think I've had a bit too much coffee, but yeah, no, I'm doing great. Yanni, how is your Saturday?
My Saturday, yeah, it's a bit annoying because right now it's a raining season. So, yeah, absolutely right now it's raining cats and dogs in my city.
Raining cats and dogs, but you know, water is life, right? So where there's water, there's life. So there's a silver lining to having heavy rains. All right, Yanni, let's get into some part 3 questions about success. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about becoming a successful person. What is needed for a person to become successful?
In my point of view, passion is the main point that lead people become successful. So from this passion, people can finish their challenges and works properly.
Can you give examples?
Okay, so right now I'm still progressing on my IELTS studies for the purpose study abroad to Australia. So I need to learn it very diligently and frequently so I can achieve at least 6.5 on my IELTS.
Where can people frequently meet with successful individuals?
Well, people can have meet a person which is very successful. For instance, in the seminar that from university or school, or even in webinars that through Zoom.
All right. I'm going to stop there for a moment, Yanni. I'm good, Yanni. I can tell you're really focusing on grammar, so it's better. Your grammar was a little bit clearer for these couple of questions than the other time we spoke last week. So that's good. Keep working on that. Are you studying grammar, like focused grammar?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Good. Keep doing that. Okay.
that's it.
Good. Lots of writing, lots of reading along with that. Okay. Good. 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 Because your fluency otherwise is good. Don't forget your explanations, okay? Clear explanations. So I said, what is needed for a person, or I asked, what is needed for a person to become successful? And you said, in my point of view, that was a good leading expression because the requirements for success are quite subjective. So the way or what we believe is needed, it's different from person to person. And you said, in my point of view, passion. When you hit the topic, passion, really emphasize the pronunciation clearly, both for pronunciation and for coherence, right? Because it's what you're saying. It's like the answer. So you want to intonate like this, Yanni. In my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful. Okay, can you emphasize like that for me? Can you try that type of intonation? And everybody else can too. In this case, I do want you to repeat me word for word. In my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful.
In my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful.
Slow it down even more. Okay, in my point of view, watch how long of a pause I take here. So in my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful. Try it one more time.
In my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful.
I want you to drag that word passion out even more, like 50% more. Passion is the main
Passion.
point. Okay, really emphasize it. Yes, and now that you've emphasized it, we need the explanation, right? You said it leads them to complete their responsibilities. That was kind of your response, but it's still not an explanation. So here, as an expert communicator, Yanni, the question that I need you to answer for me is why? Why is passion so important for success? Can you tell me that in one sentence? So why is passion so important for success?
From the passion, people can finish their works very properly.
What is passion?
Passion is kind of like the spirit that comes from ourselves.
What kind of a spirit?
Maybe some like have a spirit for achieving their dream.
Okay, let me ask it this way. So, and this is a good game, everybody, to play with each other when you're practicing your speaking, is to ask more and more questions, especially on the answer. So, Yanni, what makes you passionate?
The things that makes me passionate, mostly because of my family.
Look at Barca's answer, for example, in the chat. That's what I was thinking about as well. Shifra has, yeah, it's what you like. It's what you're interested in. It's what gives you satisfaction, right? So I would say this. In my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful, because when they have passion, it means they are interested in achieving their goals. I am passionate about helping people to get healthy, and this is why I pursue a career in nursing. You see?
Okay. Yeah.
Try it. What is needed for a person to become successful?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
No,
I'm stuck, to be honest.
You have to remember it. Just go for it. So in my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful, because when a person is passionate, they are interested in achieving their goals. Like I'm passionate in helping people to be healthy, so I pursue nursing. What is needed for a person to become successful?
In my point of view, passion is the main point that leads people to become successful. So it leads that people can build their interest to finishing their challenges or works, so that people can become successful and achieve all of their dreams.
Okay, there was a bit of repetition in the end there, and that happens, Yanni, instead of the repetition, because your explanation was good. It was a little different than mine, but you still expressed the concept of interest in achieving or overcoming challenges. So that was good, even though it was not the exact same. And then instead of the repetition is where you jump into the example, right? So I'm very interested in helping people to become healthy, so I'm passionate to become a nurse and work in the US, right? So you jump into that example instead of the repetition. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right, Yanni,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job, and you're really helping me to emphasize some key points here for everyone else also. So thank you so much for being my volunteer.
Okay, thank you, sir. Goodbye.
Okay, bye for now. All right, everybody. So I'm just going to do a quick refresh on my chat face here after that long chat. And I recommend you do the same. So just refresh the page. Again, for everybody, we're using ahelp.com here. We're using this student partner speaking. Every now and then, refresh your page, okay, so that you see what's going on. And then volunteer again, okay? So just send me another ping, and then we'll get going. Abhinav, you're very welcome for all the videos. Tatiana, good to see you in here. Long time no see. All right, I'd love to see you volunteer, Tatiana, and share your English. I would love to hear how you have progressed since our last conversation. Okay. Rakwea, we had a little bit of an issue last class. Let's try it now that especially just refreshed the page. Are you ready? Give you a second chance. Rakwea, very dedicated member and premium course user. Rakwea, if you're there, let me know, and we will tackle a few of these questions. Hi, Rakwea. I still do not hear you. Not sure what's going on, but you want to check your system. If you haven't changed anything about your system, make sure that something didn't change in your service provider, like your end of the internet. If not, then try to use a VPN. Okay, Rakwea? So, but I don't hear you. All right, so see what's going on. Okay, let's try Ugur. I don't know if we've ever had a conversation with Ugur. Let's reach out to Ugur. Ugur, are you ready? If you're there, I think Ugur is maybe a new volunteer. All right. Looking at the chat here as well. All right, Ugur. Hello, Ugur. I do not hear you. For first timers, it's especially important that you test your system with somebody else first to make sure that it's working for you. Okay, so Ugur, if you can hear me, then what you want to do at this point is you want to always mute YouTube so that your audio is coming through the website, and check with somebody else. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can reach out to Priyanka. Priyanka, are you ready? All right. Yes, Aliaskar is definitely working with a few people depending on the connection. And as I mentioned in the last couple of classes, we are upgrading servers as well. So it should be better even for people who have maybe slower connections or are in different countries. Priyanka, let's try. Hello, Priyanka. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. All right, Priyanka, same thing. Check your connection. See what's going on. See if you can get a stronger internet hub going somehow. Students, if you can use a LAN connection, Wi-Fi LAN for sure, I recommend it. Okay, let's try Andrew. I'm kind of shooting around Andrew here, so we'll give Andrew a try. Should work with him. Andrew, are you ready? Andrew's always a good candidate to kind of show what a higher level response sounds like as well, so pay careful attention.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hi Andrew, how are you?
Well, today was a bit strange. I had to wake up at 6, which is terrible for Saturday, because one of our teachers decided to have a class at 6:45.
Okay, all right, so an early wake up. Well, if it makes you feel any better, Andrew, I got up at 3:40 this morning. So
I assume you're a lark, a morning person?
I'm definitely a morning person, but strangely today and yesterday I got up earlier than I like to. I usually get up at 4:40, but this morning it was 3.
Oh my God, that's
3:30.
so early.
So I know. Hence the coffee. All right, Andrew. Let's get into some questions about successful people. Are you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Here we go. Where can people frequently meet with successful individuals?
Well, I believe people can meet with successful men and women in the professional environment, both within the job itself and at high-profile business meetings. That's actually how I met my current boss, Mr. Smith, whom I met at the conference last year.
Does networking with successful people help a person to also become successful?
Oh yes, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt, when a person is surrounded by successful individuals, they push harder to work themselves and to achieve new heights. When I was at high school, I was in a very harsh competition, and it encouraged me to not only learn English as my main foreign language, but also to devote at least 8 hours every single day for my studies to stay on top of my class.
If a person is successful in their job, does this mean that they have a successful life?
I strongly believe that it's not the case, and in most scenarios there is no clear correlation between job and personal life, because unfortunately life is way more complex. It also includes family, it includes sports, health, and a lot of other aspects. To be honest, even within my inner circle, only one person, my sister Jane, who has successful career, also has great personal life.
All right, I'm going to stop there. That was good. Answered a fresh question there. Okay, the first question you answered very much similarly, or very much the same as what you wrote in the chat, which is great, right? So make sure, everybody, that you're also saying what you write in the chat, just like Andrew did. So don't just write it, say it, right? Practice speaking. That was good. Okay, the next question was, does networking with successful people help a person to also become successful? You said, oh yes, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. That is a idiomatic language expression, I would say, more than an idiom. It's a very good expression. Without a shadow of a doubt means that you are 100% confident in what you are saying, okay? So remember this expression. It's a good one, and that's why, Andrew, it's always good to have you volunteering here, because you're sharing some nice words. By the way, Andrew, just out of curiosity, and Romelia is quite good at this as well, these expressions, where do you pick up these natural parts of the English language, like saying without a shadow of a doubt?
Honestly, everywhere. I just surrounded my life with English. My private relationships are in English. I watch videos on YouTube in English only. So like literally everywhere, bits and pieces from here, from there, and eventually over the months and years, it all adds up to a quite significant resource of vocabulary.
Right. So simply put, immersing yourself in English
Yes,
over
exactly.
the course of the years. Yeah, okay, great. So surrounding yourself by English-speaking individuals can lead to success. Okay, so without a shadow of a doubt. Good expression there. All right, and it's a lifelong learning process, communication for sure. You use some good language there. Here, later in that answer, you said, I was in a very harsh competition. That, on the other hand, is a bit awkward English in this case. I was thinking, okay, I would express that differently.
Yeah, at first I wanted to say in a very harsh environment, but then for some reason switched over to competition.
Right. And oftentimes our first instinct is better. So environment would be good. Now, there's a collocation here. So when the examiner is listening to your responses and you use a piece of English, if they catch that as being slightly off or awkward, their brain will immediately think of what they would have said. Right? That's what I do. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see what Andrew's saying. This is what I would have said for correct high band English, right? So instead of a very harsh competition, you use the word environment, which was good. There's a collocation, and you use the word competition, but in a different word form. So competitive environment. So in university, I was in a highly competitive environment. Try that.
Yeah, that in university, I was in a highly competitive environment.
That's the perfect English there, right? And I know you know it, right? But sometimes it's tough on the spot to think about it, right? Now, if you catch yourself, so if you're like, I was in a very harsh competition, and you catch yourself and you're like, well, what I meant to say is I was in a very competitive environment, you can make that correction. So making those corrections, students, especially when you're aiming for those band 9s, it's okay to do that. Okay.
So I should stop right away and correct myself and then go on with my answer.
Yeah. So in my years and years and years of teaching, not just for the IELTS, but in ESL schools in Japan, when I was doing examinations of students, there was very often a space on the marking sheet that said, does the student naturally self-correct? And that was always a positive. So anytime that a person self-corrected their pronunciation or their grammar or natural language, it was always an improvement in the score. So if you do catch yourself and you auto or self-correct, that's always a positive, okay, including on the IELTS. So yes, absolutely. And do it as soon as possible, like you said, okay? All right.
Okay.
Another word, another piece of vocabulary here that I want to just quickly emphasize before I let you go, Andrew, is the word correlation. That was very well used. You said, I don't think there is a correlation between job and life, success. The word correlation here is very well used. Everybody who's taking the IELTS, especially the academic IELTS, make sure to learn the word correlation. It's a useful piece of vocabulary, not just for speaking, but where else? Andrew, where do you think in the academic IELTS correlation could be?
Well, mostly for writing, when you have to express your ideas, and especially in part 1, when you have to interpret the data, you need to see correct correlations. And
That's
if
right.
there are none, you have to notice them.
Yeah, that's right. So correlation is used a lot in statistics, okay? So used a lot in statistics and graphs and charts, of course. So there's a strong correlation between time and energy, right? Okay, good. So know the word correlation. Task 1, yeah, a lot of people got that. They said, oh, correlation. Yes, Romelia, inextricably linked is also a good term. All right, Andrew, thank you so much for volunteering. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you too, sir.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
All right, students, I'm just going to do another quick refresh here on the chat server. You do the same. So I most recommend that as soon as we have this kind of lengthy conversation, then just refresh your chat page so you're getting a fresh list of whoever's still in there. You're getting a good connection with me. And then again, send your message saying, I want to volunteer. Maybe you changed your mind, or maybe you went to get a cup of tea or a glass of water. By the way, students, in the speaking section, I highly recommend taking water with you and do sip on it every now and then. So don't just talk for 12 minutes without any water, okay? All right. Dewey has not had a chance this week, so let's give Dewey a chance. Dewey, are you ready? I think Dewey is quite a successful person, and we might get some good insights, not just into language, but also into the requirements for success.
Hi, Adrian. Can you hear me?
I can. Hi, Dewey. How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Especially I had a chance to talk to you today. So,
All right. Well, I'm glad to put a little sunshine in your day. That's. I'm happy to hear that. Dewey, in my opinion, you're a fairly successful individual.
well, I doubt that, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. But I'll take that for a compliment.
Well, I mean, there's a reason I say that. You speak multiple languages, right? English, French, Vietnamese being your native language. You're living in France as a Vietnamese national. You have obviously a degree. You work as an architect or as a designer, and so I think there's a lot to be proud of. So just a quick natural question here, Dewey. What would you attribute your success to?
Uh, I think I guess I have a very clear goal in at first, and then hard work. Yeah, I think hard work is a plays a very big part in my success.
All right. Some good answers. I'll talk about that in a bit, but I'll ask you some questions off of the sheet here. So let's talk a little bit more about success. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Have the way people thought about success changed since a generation ago?
Yes, I definitely think that success has changed since a generation before because the way we perceive success has different meanings relate according to our situation. For example, like my parents before, for them success means to have enough to eat to feed the family. But nowadays, people have more needs than to just have a good meals. They want to be well respected in the society, and they also want to dress well, for example.
Some people say that money does not buy happiness. Do you agree with this statement?
Yeah, I definitely agree with this statement because life is not all about money. Uh, there's still a lot of things we can enjoy and explore with our money. And in some circumstances, literally, money cannot buy your money. Like when people do not have a good health, even with a wealthy situation, they cannot enjoy life.
That is the end of part 3. That concludes the speaking section. Okay, so Dewey, that was great. Let me give you a bit of feedback. All right, so
Yeah.
my first question was, what has led you to success? And you said, I have a very clear goal and hard work. So even in these cases, Dewey, and in your everyday life, when you get, into a conversation with a person like with me at the start here, practice those skills of strong communication, right? So especially when you're growing your English language and vocabulary. So here you said, I have a very clear goal and hard work. Don't be shy. You earned it. You deserve it. So you said I have a very clear goal. Describe it, what that goal is. So I have,
Yeah.
and it sounds to
I
me
think
like,
because I think it's just a question you asked me for fun, so that's why I just answered so short.
right? No, I'm always hunting for those perfect band 9 answers. so, so you can say, like I have always had very clear goals in life, and I have pursued them through hard work. I mean that I knew I wanted to become an architect from a young age. So I studied at least 10 hours each day to pass my graduation exams with flying colors. Flying colors means very high marks. Okay? Try that, Dewey. I have always had very clear goals in life, and I have pursued them through hard work.
I've always had very clear goals in life, and I have to pursue them through hard work.
I mean that I knew I wanted to become an architect from a young age, so I studied at least 10 hours each day to pass my graduate exams with flying colors.
I mean that I knew I wanted to become an architect from a young age, so I studied at least 10 hours each day to pass my graduation exams with flying colors.
Okay, very nice. So those would be your band nines, okay? All right, then I asked you, have the way people thought about success changed since the last generation? And then it's the can you elaborate, which is typical. And you said, yes, I definitely think success has changed. Very good job of reflecting the present perfect. That was good. Since a generation ago. Now, any time, especially on the IELTS, everyone, and so this isn't just for Dewey, it's for everybody, that you have this question of change over time, you definitely want to use present perfect, and you definitely want to think about technology. Okay, so technology should flash in your mind because we live in such a technological computer age, right? And I know for sure when I think about young people today and I think about what it means to be successful, there's a couple of quick pictures that really come to my mind. Dewey, what pictures come to your mind when you think about young people, especially like teenagers, 20-year-olds, when they have this picture of success? What comes to their mind, or what comes to your mind when you think about them?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is nowadays when we talk about success, people will tend to think about you become wealthy in a very young age.
Wealthy, okay, like money, right? But money has been true for a few generations now. But think about technology. Okay, yeah. What do you mean by fame? So then think about technology.
Popular in social media.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like when I think of a young person like being like, oh wow, you're really successful, the immediate next question is, how many followers do you have? It's like, all right.
They're prominent in their roles.
And to be honest with you, it's not really that much of a difference from past generations because popularity has always been a very important measure of success for humans, right? So how popular are we in school? How popular are we in society? Popularity is definitely a big measure of success. And Romelia mentioned that last class, fame, right? But now the way that we measure that popularity with TikTok and Instagram and followers and so on, try to answer this question visualizing those. So let's do this one more time. So have the way people thought about success changed since the last generation?
Yes, I definitely think that the way people think about success have changed a lot over the past generation because before, like my generation of my parents, they tend to have a meaning of success with a wealthy situation where they can feed the family and raise the children correctly. Whereas nowadays, especially for younger generations, they tend to have they tend to lean towards fame on social media, where they can gain followers and become famous in this virtual reality.
Awesome. Okay, Dewey, so now you have a great idea. The next step, of course, you probably will guess, is to be concise, right? To say all of that, but just in a much shorter way. So yes, the concept of success, I believe, has changed a lot from a generation ago. People in the 90s focused a lot on material possessions and wealth, like having a large house and a Mercedes, as where the youth of today have been focusing much more on social media and getting a lot of followers on Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
All right, got it?
Okay.
All right,
Thank you very much, Adrian.
Okay, bye, Dewey. Have an awesome rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
Bye for now. All right, students, so that's the trick, right? Quality answers in a concise way. Takes a lot of practice for sure, but you can do it. You can do it. It's just going back and doing it again and again. All right, let's try somebody else. Let's see if Lola is here with us, just right underneath Dewey here. Lola, hopefully we can do it without refreshing this time. Are you ready? Lola. If you're there, let me know. Yes. Okay, let's reach out to Lola. it's ringing. Oh, you missed it. Okay, Lola, I'll try. Just a sec. I'll try again. Okay, I'll refresh the page here again, students. So just give it a quick refresh, and then I'll reach out again. So Lola, if you've refreshed, I'll give you a quick call here, and hopefully we'll connect. Oh, let's try that again. No, something's not working there. All right, Lola, I'll try you in a little bit. Okay, let's see if Fuang is here. Fuang, I think you've done a refresh. Are you ready? All right. Hi, Fuang.
Oh, hi, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. All right, Fuang, how's Saturday for you in Ho Chi Minh?
A lot of sunny, and 40 degrees. I spent the whole Saturday with my family, sir.
So that sounds like a good day. A lot of sunshine.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, are you ready for a couple of questions about success?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Have the way people thought about success changed since a generation ago?
Oh, yes. I think the way people think about success has changed a lot since the last generations. Back in the day, many people thought that being successful in study or work was just enough for them to exist in this society. But nowadays, communication skills and psychologies are much more important to read the human mind and know how to start a conversation with them.
Some people say that money does not buy happiness. Do you agree with this statement? Why or why not?
That's a tricky question. Let me think for a second. Um, in some way, money doesn't buy happiness. However, I believe money is essential to secure health and goals. A good illustration is that when parents make $1,000 per year, they can not only buy quality food for their kids, but they also make more opportunities for their child to get a good education abroad.
That is the end of part 3. That concludes the speaking section. Good. Let me give you some feedback. First of all, that would be a solid band 7.5. Okay. It was nice answers and good content, a little bit more clarity, and I think you would get a higher score. Let me just finish this. When parents earn $1,000. Okay, per year. All right, so let me jump back. So you were paying attention. That's why I asked that question that I finished with Dewey, the have the way people. I was seeing how much you were paying attention there. And you said, oh yes, I think. Now, Fong, you're using these natural fillers like and and that's good, okay? A lot of IELTS students, they think that if you say or or it's bad. It's not bad. It's actually good as long as you don't overdo it. So you can't be like through the whole conversation. That would be really weird, right? It'd be like, what? But if you use them every now and again, especially at the start of your answer, it's totally fine. It's natural, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. So you said, I think the way people think about success has changed. And then you said, I think back in the day. By the way, that's a really good expression to use for this type of question. Back in the day. Back in the day. Very good. People thought success in school or work meant being successful, but you said nowadays having good communication, good relationships. You chose a different answer. It was totally fine. It was a good thought. Just be careful if you're giving a complex answer. It gets tricky to explain or to give an example for, okay?
Okay,
All
sir.
right. Then I asked you, some people say that money does not buy happiness. Do you agree with this? You took a moment to think about it. You said, that's a tricky question. Very good place to use that expression because it is a tricky question. It's a very tricky question. And you said, let me think. I usually tell people to choose one side. You've probably heard me say this, Fuang, right? Like choose one side and then go with it. So it does not buy happiness, or yes, it does buy happiness. Dewey chose one side. Dewey says, no, it does not buy happiness. There are a lot of other factors to be happy in life, and money is not necessarily it. A person has to be healthy. If they're not healthy, then no amount of money will buy them happiness. So that's what Dewey said, right? And you kind of went a different direction. You're like, you want the it depends, right? You have to be careful with the it depends, but in some situations, it does make sense. Like in your case, or in this situation, it does make sense, right? Because if we have no money, then life can be pretty terrible. But money isn't everything, right? So you said in some ways, money does not buy happiness. If you say that, Fuang, you should explain it before you switch to the other side. So money does not buy happiness. If a person is very ill, no amount of money can make them happy. But in other ways, I do think money is necessary to achieve goals. So when parents earn $1,000 a year, they can afford education for their children, and this will certainly make them happy, as it has my parents. Okay? So try to repeat this after me. So remember, everyone, that if you go with the it depends, or this kind of both answers, negative and positive, you have to explain each one briefly. Okay? Does that make sense, Fong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's do this one. Just repeat after me. That's a tricky question. Let me think. In some ways, money does not buy happiness. If a person's very ill, no amount of money can make them happy. But in other ways, I do think money is necessary to achieve goals. Like when parents earn $1,000 a year, they can afford education for their children, and this can certainly make them happy, as it does my parents. Okay? Let's try that. Some people say that money does not buy happiness. Do you agree with this statement?
That's a tricky question. Let me think about this. In some way, money cannot buy happiness. If a person is very ill, no amount of money can make them happy. But in other ways, I do think that money is necessary to achieve goals. When parents earn 1,000 per year, they can afford education for their children, and this will certainly make them happy, as it has my parents.
That's the right way to go about it, Fong. Okay, so make sure that if you go with both sides, explain both sides for more coherence, okay?
Okay, sir.
All
I
right.
got it.
Okay, and be careful of that traffic. It sounds very busy wherever you are. I'm not sure where that is. All right, Fong, have a lovely rest of your day. I know it's almost midnight there, getting close, but have a great day. Bye, Fong.
Have a great day, sir. See you next week.
All right, that was Fuang. And Fuang said, see you next week, because yes, we're coming to the end of this class and we're running out of time, everybody. Let's take one more person. I want to give Lola a second chance here. Maybe she can try again. Are you there? Let's give Lola a second chance. I do believe in second chances. I think that's an important part of success. Trying again. Not giving up, right? Persistence, perseverance. Okay, Tatiana, thank you for the claps. Yes, thumbs up. Okay, Lola, let's give it a go.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Lola. See, success. We persevered.
Yeah,
I hear you.
yeah.
So,
I can hear you too.
so not giving up. It's a part of success, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You came back. I tried again, and voila, as they say in French. Okay, Lola, are you ready for a few questions?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about becoming successful. Does networking with successful people help a person to also become successful?
Yes, networking with successful people can help people to become successful person at their job or in their future job to get a job. To Mr. Rob, who is working with computers for our 2 decades, I think, and to create and to be successful too.
All right. I kind of missed the end of that because the connection
Oh.
got a bit weird, just like last time. So it's like the first half
Yeah.
of what you're saying is good, but then it starts to decrease, which is okay. I'm going to take a look at this question with you specifically. So you gave an example. Now, you're using the question, Lola, to answer the question, which is good. So that's smart. However, you don't want to be this verbatim, okay? So you almost like word for word repeated the question. You really want to paraphrase a little bit, right? So does networking with successful people help a person to also become successful? What are some words that are, I don't want to say easy, but what are some words here that we could paraphrase in the answer?
A working of internet
So what is
instead of networking.
Okay, networking isn't just for the internet. So we use the word in the world of computers and the internet, but networking actually means, what do you think it means? If you don't think about computers or technology, what does networking mean?
I don't have an idea. I think it's working with internet and computers.
No, it actually, so language is always adapted to changes in culture and technology. So all of the words that you hear in the world of computers, or I should say most of the words that you hear in the world of computers, existed before and were used in other contexts, okay? Networking definitely, and it's still used in many other contexts. So networking means to make connections, right? English words are often self-explanatory if you think about it. So like with networking, what you want to do is you want to think about like a spider web, okay? Where you have this spider web, and at different points of that spider web, just like with computers, right, you make all of those connections at different parts of that spider web. And that's what networking actually means, is to make these different connections with people through this web, okay, or this net. Like think about a fishing net, right? So it's working in the net, right? So here, networking actually means to make connections, okay? So making connections would be a way that you could paraphrase this. Yes, making connections with successful people. What's another word that's even easier, let's say easier to paraphrase than networking in this sentence? Does networking with successful people help a person to become? The word is,
As you said, making connections.
helping people. Helping people are always easy to
yeah.
paraphrase, right? So people, what's another way to say people?
Individuals,
Yeah.
humans.
And even if you use that paraphrasing a few times, it always sounds good. It always sounds good because it means that you're interpreting the questions, individuals. Yeah. And what's another way to say help?
Support.
Yeah, support can work. Yeah, supports, sure. Aids, supports, sure. Supports works well. Yeah. So yes, making connections with successful individuals supports them to become successful, right? Try that.
Yes, making connections with successful individuals to support
Them
them
to become
become
successful.
full person.
Okay, good. One more time. Yes, making connections with successful individuals supports them to become successful.
Okay. Yes, making connections with successful individuals supports them to become successful.
And success, we can say achieve goals, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Achieve their goals, aims.
Exactly. So the key here is paraphrase the question. Don't just repeat it as much as possible, okay? But if you're not able to, it's still better to often repeat the question in some sense than to get stuck or to go off topic if you need to buy some time, okay? All right?
Okay.
Okay, so Lola, practice that. Lots of paraphrasing, okay?
Okay.
All right. You're welcome. Bye, Lola. Have a great day.
Bye, you too.
All right, that was Lola. Let's give her a thumbs up. Students, that's important advice for everybody. Make sure to paraphrase. Okay, make sure to paraphrase. Students, I'm going to pause there, but as you can see, there's lots of people in here, and you should test the system anyway, so try to make connections with each other. Ask these questions. By the way, there are questions up here as well that you can use. Okay, so there's some practice questions. You can click on people, for example, and then here it's a person that's good with money. So you can ask those questions. I know it's kind of a small font, but it'll be better for you on your end. Students, we are looking at academic English help, the website. You can join the premium IELTS package by clicking this big red button that's just above my head there. There's so much content there for you. Videos, practice exams, interactive courses. Chen, Sarah, thank you so much for moderating the class. It was really helpful. I saw that both of you had a bit of work to do there, making sure that we don't get too much spam going on. Thank you for that. General IELTS students, green background, red button here. Okay, thank you to all of my volunteers. Romelia, if you're still there, send me that email, okay, about moderating. Thank you especially, yes, to all the volunteers for sharing your English. And if you weren't able to connect with me today, don't give up. We're always upgrading systems, adding more servers around the world. So come back again next week. We're doing a major upgrade this week. So definitely keep coming back. And I will post the schedule on the community board here in YouTube. So make sure to subscribe on. In the next week, we will have speaking, reading, listening. And here's kind of a glimpse at the schedule. I will post it on Instagram as well. Okay. Instagram is IELTS_AE-help, GIELTS help. The websites again are aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com. Okay, make sure that you check out those websites. Have fun learning English. Have a great rest of your day, or have a good night. I know it's late for many of you. You're all awesome people. Thank you for being here with me today. Bye, everybody. See you in a few days.